कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूप स्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, dear devotees. My sincere gratitude to the devotees of Ben Salem Bhakti Vriksha of ISKCON Philadelphia, under the guidance of His Grace Mukta Sangha Prabhu, for giving me this opportunity to read from Sri Caitanya Bhagavata. Really very grateful to all of you. So, today we are going to start a new chapter. Sri Caitanya Bhagavata by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur Mahashaya, Ādi Khanda, chapter number 13, entitled Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu defeats the Digvijayi Pandit. Text 1. Jaya Jaya Dvija Kula Deepa Gaura Chandra, Jaya Jaya Bhakta Goshti Hridaya Ananda. All glories to Shri Gaura Chandra. the shining light of the family of the Brahmanas. Dvija Kula Deepa. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who increases the happiness in the hearts of his devotees. Bhakta Goshti Hridaya Ananda. Jaya Jaya Dvija Kula Deepa Gaurachandra. Jaya Jaya Bhakta Goshti Hridaya Ananda. Jaya Jaya Dwarapala Govindera Nath. Jiva Pratikara Prabhu Shubha Drishtipat. Jaya Jaya Dwarapala Govindera Nath. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the Lord of Govinda, the doorkeeper. Kashishwar and Govinda were the two personal servants of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Gambhira, in Sri Jagannath Puri Dham. Jiva Prati Kara Prabhu Shubha Drishtipat. O Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, please glance mercifully upon us, the living entities. Jaya Jaya Dwarapala Govindera Nath. Jiva Prati Kara Prabhu Shubha Drishtipat. Hare Krishna. May Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, Shri Nityananda Prabhu mercifully glance upon us and shower their blessings. If they glance upon us mercifully and shower their blessings through their glance, divine glance, we will be protected. We will be protected. We cannot protect ourselves on the basis of our own strength. Neither the strength of our own bhajan, not the strength of our own sadachar, not on the basis of the strength of our vast learning or other devotional activities. No matter what we do, how much bhajan we do, we cannot protect ourselves on the basis of bhajan shakti, the strength of our devotional practices. We cannot protect ourselves. Only Krishna can protect. Avashya Rakshive Krishna. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught us to pray in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Krishna 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 He Krishna 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 He Krishna 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 Raksha Mam Krishna 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 Pahi Mam Rama Raghava Rama Raghava Rama Raghava Raksha Mam Krishna Keshava Krishna Keshava Krishna Keshava Pahi Mam Krishna 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 He. Such a beautiful prayer. Avashya Rakshive Krishna. Not Avashya Rakshive my bhajan or my shakti or my sankalpa. Avashya Rakshive Krishna. Only Krishna can save us. Jaya Adhyapaka Shiro Ratna Vipraraj. Jaya Jaya Chaitanya Bhakata Samaj. Shri Vrindavan Das Thakur ki jai. Shri Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami ki jai. Shri Lochan Das Thakur ki jai. Shri Murari Gupta ki jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Goswami ki jai. Shri Ramananda Rai ki jai. All the authors who have written about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Shri Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Shri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and our beloved founder Acharya Om Vishnupad, Shri Shri Madhabhai Charana Aravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to the crest jewel of teachers, Jaya Adhyapaka Shiro Ratna, and the king of the Brahmanas, Vipraraj. And all glories to the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Bhakata Samaj. Nice verse, you like it? All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the best teacher. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching us Sharanagati. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Jive Doya Kori Swaparshada Swiyadhama Saha Avatari Atyanta Durlabha Prema Koribare Dana Shikhaye Sharanagati Bhakatera Prana. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Shikhaye Sharanagati. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching us Sharanagati. Therefore, Jaya Adhyapaka Shiroratna. He is the best teacher. Vipraraj. Jaya Adhyapaka Shiro Ratna Vipraraj. Jaya Jaya Chaitanya Bhakata Samaj. Very nice verse. Henamate Vidyarase Shri Vaikuntanath. Vaisena Sabara Kari Vidyagarva Path. Aha. In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the Lord of Vaikuntha, Henamate Vidyarase Shri Vaikuntanath. He enjoyed Vidyaras. He enjoyed his scholastic pastimes. Enjoyed Vidyarase. And what did he do? Sabara Kari Vidya Garva Path. We are proud of our learning. We are proud of our knowledge. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu vanquishes our pride. All the Garvishta people who are proud, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mercifully, what he does? Sabara Kari Vidya Garva Path. Vidya Garva Path. His Holiness Srila Niranjan Swami Maharaj, one of our Gurujan, he has written a very nice instruction for all of us. Srila Niranjan Swami Maharaj says that before speaking Harikatha, we should pray that may I make mistakes. May I forget what I'm supposed to speak. May I forget the verses. May I make mistakes. And may the devotees sitting in the audience correct me. So two things will happen. Because I'm forgetting, there will be Vidya Garva Path. The Vidya Garva, the pride that we have in our vast learning. Why is Mukta Sangha Prabhu inviting me to address his Bhakti Vriksha? And there are so many speakers, but is there any speaker like me? Ultimately, he has to come to me and request me. Prabhuji, please come and speak Chaitanya Bhagavata. Garva. But when I forget, it is very humbling. Oh, what was I going to say? What is that verse? I forgot. And then Mukta Sangha Prabhu and all Aparna Mataji, Divyangin Lalita Mataji, Ganesh Prabhu, Haridas Anudas, Shri Balram Prabhu, Sita Mataji, Parima Mataji, Purnima Mataji, Pradyumna Prabhu, Sarmishta Mataji, Sugandha Mataji, Ananya, all of you will correct. And then what will happen? My Garva path, the pride in the heart will subside. So Srila Niranjan Swami Maharaj tells us that before speaking Harikatha, we should pray that may I make mistakes, may I forget the verses that I'm supposed to quote, and may the audience correct me. So two things are happening. One is our pride is going down, and second, the Harikatha is not suffering. Because if the speaker forgets, then those important points, important verses, important Siddhanta is not spoken. So Harikatha suffers. But no, if the audience are correcting and they are giving inputs, then the Harikatha also goes smoothly. At the same time, the speaker doesn't become proud. So Srila Niranjan Swami Maharaj says that before speaking Harikatha, we should pray that may I make mistakes in the presence of devotees. May I forget the verses in the presence of devotees. And may the kind devotees remind and correct me. So very nice, humble mood. This humility is very pleasing to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu likes devotees to be humble. Trinadapi Sunichena is a teaching of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Dinera adhika daya kare Bhagavan, Pandita kulina dhani bada abhiman. Pandit, born in nice kula, and dhani. Those who are learned, those who are born in big famous families, and those who are wealthy, bada abhiman. They have a lot of abhiman, they have a lot of pride, and they will not get Krishna. Dinera adhika daya kare Bhagavan, Pandita kulina dhani bada abhiman. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu likes his devotees to be dainya. Dainya atma nivedana goptritve varana avasya rakshive Krishna vishwasa palana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu likes his devotees to be humble, and therefore many times devotees have difficulties in their spiritual life. Because if everything is going great, we don't make any mistakes, we never fall prey to lust, we never become victims of anger, we never act out of greed, we never feel envy, we never feel proud, then what will happen? We will think that I am doing very well in my Krishna consciousness with my own bal, with my own bhajan shakti, bhajan bal, with my own tapasya, with my own sadachar. I am going ahead in bhakti. But when we make mistakes, immediately we feel a sense of humility. Oh, I am very fallen. Then when we say, devotees glorify, and we say, no, no, Prabhu, please don't glorify me. I am very fallen. It is coming from the heart, because we know we have acted fallen. We know we have acted under the influence of lust, anger, greed, envy, pride, etc. So then that humility becomes genuine. So sometimes Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to humble the devotees, he removes his protection. If Mahaprabhu protects, there is no possibility of being under the influence of Maya. There is no possibility of falling down or making spiritual mistakes. There is no possibility. Janaki nath sahaya kare to kaun bigad sake nar tero. Shukar, Shanichar, Rahu, Ketu, ye sab tere chero. Janaki nath sahaya kare to kaun bigad sake nar tero. So if Mahaprabhu helps us, then there is no danger of falling down. Nothing. No matter what dasha is going on, Sade Sati is going on, Shani, nothing can touch us if Mahaprabhu protects. Rakhe Krishna mare Krishna rakhe ke. But sometimes Krishna deliberately removes his protection. So the devotee experiences difficulties. To see if during difficulties also the devotee is going to take Sharanagati, take shelter of Krishna or not. That is a very important principle. And also, sometimes having spiritual difficulties makes us serious in Krishna consciousness and makes us humble. That is the meaning of Hena mate vidya rase Shri Vaikunthanat Vaisena sabara kari vidya garvapat Yadyapiha Navadvipe Pandita Samaj Koti Arbud Adhyapaka Nana Shastra Raj. Navadvip was full of millions of learned scholars. Yadyapiha Navadvipe Pandita Samaj Koti Arbud. There were millions and millions of learned scholars in Navadvip, and each of them had mastered various scriptures. Adhyapaka Nana Shastra Raj. They were very learned in different scriptures. They had mastered various scriptures. Bhattacharya Chakravarti Mishra are Acharya. Bhattacharya Chakravarti Mishra Acharya. Adhyapana Vinakaro are Nahi Karya. So there are different titles given to very learned scholars based on their vast learning. Like we have Dvivedi, we have Trivedi, we have Chaturvedi. Like there were Bhattacharya, Chakravarti, Mishra, Acharya. These are different titles given to various learned scholars in Navadvip. And they had Adhyapana Vina Karo Ara Nahi Karya. They had no other occupation other than being teachers. Adhyapak. Yadyapiha Sabai Swatantra Sabarjaye. Shastra Charcha Haile Brahma Reha Nahi Sai. These scholars were all independent and so victorious in debating scriptures that they disregarded persons as learned as Lord Brahma. Brahma Reha Nahi Sai. They would even disregard the conclusions of scholars who were as learned as Lord Brahma. They had so much pride, so much pride. Prabhu Jata Niravadhi Akshepa Karena Parampara Sakshateha Sabai Shunena. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as Nimai Pandit, constantly rebuked these scholars. He defeated and chastised these scholars who had to directly or indirectly hear Mahaprabhu's taunts. Tathapiha Hena Jana Nahi Prabhu Prati Dvirukti Karite Karo Nahi Shakti Kati. Nevertheless, although Mahaprabhu would chastise them, taunt them, none of them was able to counter Sri Nimai Pandit's challenges. They could not. Nimai Pandit, Nimai Vishwambhar was undefeatable. Hena se sadhva sa janme prabhu re dekhiya sabai jaye na ek dike namra hayya. These other scholars in Nadia, Navadvip, were so scared, so frightened of seeing Nimai Pandit that they would humbly try to avoid him. They would run away in panic and fear. Yadiva kahare prabhu kare na sambhash sei jana haye na ati bada das. whoever Sri Nimai Pandit spoke with would become his staunch follower, Badadas. They would become his chelas. Prabhura Panditya Buddhi Shishu Kal Haite Sabai Jane na Ganga Tire Bhalamate. Everyone on the bank of Ganga knew well that Lord Nimai Pandit was most intelligent right from his childhood. Right from his childhood. Kono rupe keha probho dhite nahi pare ihao sabara chitte jagaye antare. Within their hearts, they knew that Sri Nimai Pandit could not be defeated in argument. Nimai Pandit was the number one learned scholar. Prabhu dekhi swabhave janmaye sadhvasa ataiva Prabhu dekhi sabhe haya vasha. Therefore, they naturally became frightened when they saw the Lord, and they were obliged to accept subordination to him. Everyone accepted subordination to the Lord. Tathapiha henatana mayara badai bhujibare paretane hena jananai. Nevertheless, the influence of the illusory energy is such, the influence of Krishna's illusory energy is such that no one was able to recognize him as a Supreme Lord. They were all learned people. They were all following the Vedic culture, but they could not recognize Nimai as a Supreme Lord. This, my dear friends, is the Leela Shakti of Krishna. Teho jadi nakarena apana vidita tabetane kehajahi jane kadachita. No one can possibly recognize the Lord unless the Lord reveals himself. This is Siddhanta. This is Siddhanta. Bhaktyamam abhijanati yavaneschasmi tattvata. Teho yadi nakarena apana vidita tabetane kehanahi jane kadachita. Unless Lord Krishna gives us the empowerment, we cannot understand. In other words, we can only understand Krishna to the extent Krishna reveals himself. Vedaham samati tani vartamanani charjuna bhavishyami cha bhutani mam tu vedana kaschana. In Bhagavata, Krishna says, I know everything. Vedaham samati tani vartamanani. I know the present. Vartamanani charjuna bhavishyami. I know the future. Bhavishyami cha bhutani. I know the past. What has happened? I know past, present, and future. Vedaham samatitani vartamanani charjuna bhavishyami cha bhutani, but mam tu vedana kaschana. But nobody knows me. I know everything, but nobody knows me. So we can know Krishna only to the extent Krishna reveals himself. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in Caitanya Charitamrita teaches the same Siddhanta. Says that we are like a small bird. What capacity does a small sparrow have to cover the entire space? Krishna is like the unlimited universe, unlimited space, unlimited sky. And we are like a small sparrow. We can fly across the sky to the extent Krishna empowers us. But we cannot understand completely. Teho puna nitya supra sanna sarvarite tahana mayana puna sabevi mohite. Lord Shri Krishna or Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is eternally merciful to the living entities in every respect. Yet by the influence of Krishna's illusory energy, Maya Shakti, everyone remains ignorant of Krishna's true identity. This is a fact. Henamate sabare mohiya gaura chandra vidyarasena vadvipe kare prabhu ranga. In this way, Shri Gaura Chandra bewildered everyone as he enjoyed his scholastic pastimes in Navadvip. This bewilderment of associates of Mahaprabhu is required for the smooth execution of Leela. If everybody knows that this is Radha Krishna, Eka Atma, Dui Deha Dhari, Anyonne Vilasara se Aswadana Kari, Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikritir, Ladini Shaktir Asmad, Ekatmana, Abhibhui Pura, Deha Vedam Gatautu, Chaitanyakam, Prakata Madhuna Tadvayam Chaikyamatma, Radha Bhavadu Dusmulitam, Naumi Krishna Swarupam. If everybody knows the Siddhanta that Radha Krishna are one but eternally in two forms, those two forms have become one and appeared as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it is Krishna only with the mood of Radharani. Radha Bhav Dudusvulitam Naumi Krishna Swarupam. If everybody knows this, if Jagannath Mishra knows this, Shachimata knows this, Gangadas Pandit knows this, all the students know it, then what Leela will be there? Everyone will be just offering obeisances. Offering obeisances. So there is no Leela. So for the sake of the Leela Shakti covers everyone. All the eternal associates who have come. Swaparshada Suyadhama Saha Avatari. The Dham, eternal Navadvip Dham has appeared from Golok Vrindavan. And the associates have appeared. Different associates of Krishna. From Krishna Leela, from Ram Leela, they have all appeared. And they are doing pastimes. But they are all covered by the Leela Shakti. This Leela Shakti is Vrinda Devi. Tvam kirtya se satvatantra vidbhir Leela bhidhana kilash Krishna Shakti Tavaiva Murtis Tulasi Nriloke Vrinde Namaste Charanara Vindam. This Shakti, Leela Shakti of Krishna is Vrinda Devi. Tvam kirtya se satvatantra vidbhir. O Vrinda Devi, you are glorified in all the Bhakti Shastras, the Bhakti Tantras. Tvam kirtya se satvatantra vidbhir Leela bhidhana kila Krishna Shakti. You are Krishna's Leela Shakti. Leela bhidhana kila Krishna Shakti. Tavaiva murtis tulasi nriloke. In this nrilok, in this mortal world, that Vrinda Devi, who is Leela Shakti of Krishna, has appeared as a tulsi plant. Tavaiva murtis tulasi nriloke. Vrinde namaste charana arvindam. I offer obeisances to your lotus feet. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has written this. He namate sabare mohiya Gaurachandra vidyarase navadvipe kari Prabhu Ranga. In this way, Shri Gaurachandra bewildered everyone as he enjoyed his scholastic pastimes in Navadvip. Beautiful. He namate sabare mohiya Gaurachandra. Sabare mohiya. He has bewildered everyone. Vidyarase navadvipe kare Prabhu Ranga. He is enjoying his Vidyarasa Leela in Navadvip. Hena kale tatha eka mahadigvijai aila parama ahankara yukta hai. At that time, a proud champion, Digvijay. Dig means directions. Vijay means conquered. One who has conquered all directions is called Digvijay Pandit. So Digvijay Pandit came. Hena kale tatha eka mahadigvijai aila parama ahankara yukta hai. He came to Navadvip and he was Param Ahankar Yukta. He was very proud. Very, very proud. In the purport, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj writes something very interesting. Let's read. Some people say that the Mahadigvijay refers to Keshav Kashmiri or Keshav Bhatta, the disciple of Gangalya Bhatta of the Sri Nimbarka Sampradaya. In consideration of the time factor, there is a difference of opinion in this regard. So it is not clear whether this Pandit was Keshav Kashmiri or was he in the Nimbarkacharya Sampradaya, Keshav Bhatta. It's not clear. Many verses from Keshav Bhatta's Kramadipika have been quoted as evidence in Srimad Gopal Bhatta Goswami Prabhu's compilation of Hari Bhakti Vilas and also in the Digdarshini Tika on the same. Later on, this Keshav Bhatta was accepted as an Acharya in the disciplic succession of Sri Nimbarka Sampradaya. If Keshav Bhatta, the author of Kramadipika, was accepted in the disciplic succession of the Sri Nimbarka Sampradaya, however, then the author of Sri Hari Bhakti Vilas, Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, would have mentioned it in his writing. So it is not 100% clear whether this Digvijay Pandit is Keshav Kashmiri or he is Keshav Bhatta of the Nimbarkacharya Sampradaya. Saraswati Mantrera Ekanta Upasak Mantra Japi Saraswati Kari Lekavash. Very important point. So this very proud Digvijay Pandit who came to Navadvip, he was Saraswati Mantrera Ekanta Upasak. What was his upasana? Saraswati Mantra. Constantly chanted Saraswati Mantra. And with his Mantra Jap, what happened? Mantra Japi Saraswati Kari Lekavash. He brought Saraswati Devi under his control of his devotion to her. Which means he was a staunch devotee of goddess Saraswati, and by chanting Shri Saraswati Mantra, he won her favor. He was able to please her. Vishnu Bhakti Swarupini Vishnu Vakshasthita Murti Bhede Rama Saraswati Jaganmata. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur is writing the glories of Srimati Saraswati Devi. Vishnu Bhakti Swarupini, Vishnu Vakshasthita, Murti Bhede Rama Saraswati Jaganmata. Saraswati Jaganmata, glories of Saraswati Devi. What is it? Shri Saraswati Devi is the personification of devotional service to Lord Vishnu. That is the first point. Saraswati Devi is Vishnu Bhakti Swarupini, Shri Saraswati Devi. Okay? She is non-different from Lakshmi Devi. Vishnu Vaksha Sthita. She eternally resides on the chest of Lord Vishnu, and therefore she is non-different from Lakshmi Devi. Murti Bhede Rama. She is Rama. Rama is the name of Lakshmi Devi. Murti Bhede Rama. She is just another form of Lakshmi Devi. And Saraswati Jaganmata. She is the universal mother. Srimati Saraswati Devi is the mother of the universe. In the purport, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada writes, Rama refers to Shri Shakti. So there are three primary Shaktis of Lord Narayan. There is the Shri Shakti, there is the Bhu Shakti, and there is the Nila Shakti. In this purport, Sri Caitanya Bhagavata Ādi Khanda chapter 13, verse number 21, purport, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur explains these three Shaktis. Shri, Bhu, and Nila. Rama or Lakshmi Devi refers to Shri Shakti of Lord Narayan. Shri Shakti, who resides on the chest of Lord Vishnu. Vakshasthal, as Shrivatsa. That is Shri Shakti, Lakshmi Devi or Rama Devi. Now, who is Shri Saraswati Devi? Saraswati Devi is the personification of devotional service. Vishnu Bhakti Swarupini. Srimati Saraswati Devi is the personification of devotional service, and she represents the Bhu Shakti. Srimati Saraswati Devi is Bhu Shakti. And she is the eternal consort of the holy name of Krishna. Because to chant any mantras where there is Krishna Nam, like in the beginning of today's discussion in the Mangalacharan, we were chanting so many Vedic mantras. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. So all these Vedic mantras, they are coming from Mother Saraswati Devi, Srimati Saraswati Devi. So therefore, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada ji writes that Srimati Saraswati Devi is the consort of the holy name of Krishna. So Shri Shakti is Lakshmi Devi or Rama Devi. Saraswati Devi is the Bhu Shakti. And the phrase Jaganmata refers to Lord Vishnu's Nila Shakti. Nila Shakti is also called as Leela Shakti. And she is the Durga Shakti. She is Durga Devi. Srimati Durga Devi or Srimati Parvati Devi is the Nila Shakti or Leela Shakti of Krishna. Further, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes, although the features of Rama, Saraswati and Durga are different, they are all actually non-different from Shri Lakshmi, Shri Narayani Devi. Narayani is the name of Lakshmi Devi. So all these three Shaktis, Rama, Saraswati and Durga, Shri, Bhu and Nila Shakti or Leela Shakti, they are, although they are distinct, but factually they are non-different from Srimati Lakshmi Devi. Ultimately they all come from Lakshmi Devi. And Lakshmi Devi comes from Srimati Radharani. And who is Lakshmi Devi? She is the internal potency of Lord Narayan. They are all personifications of Lord Vishnu's service. Ultimately, all these three Shaktis, Shri Shakti, Bhu Shakti and Nila Shakti, they are all meant for the service of Lord Narayan. They are all personifications of Lord Vishnu's service. Since they are all principal Ashraya Vigrahas, Lord Krishna is the Vishaya Vigraha. He is the Vishaya, he is the object of our bhakti. And Srimati Radharani is the Ashraya Vigraha. Vishaya Vigraha and Ashraya Vigraha. Srimati Radharani is Ashraya Vigraha because all the devotees take shelter of Srimati Radharani. We are all devotees. We are all devotees of Srimati Radharani. We are all servants of Srimati Radharani. We are not servants of Krishna. We are servants of Srimati Radharani. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada teaches us this Siddhanta. In fact, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said that we are only interested in Krishna because of Krishna's relationship with Srimati Radharani. Otherwise, we have nothing to do with Krishna. We belong only to Srimati Radharani. This is not some sentimental statement. It is based on deep Tattva Siddhanta. We are constitutionally, our nature, our Jaiva Dharma is to serve. And who is the personification of all service? It is Srimati Radharani. Krishna Sangha Nityamartha Padma Bandhu Radhika Mayamatma Pada Padma Dasya Dastu Radhika. Krishna Sangha Nitya Artha. For the sake of getting eternal association of Lord Krishna, Padma Bandhu Radhika. Srimati Radharani, what she does? She does Padma Bandhu Radhika. Radhika means Aradhana. She does Aradhana. She does worship of Padma Bandhu. Padma Bandhu is Lord Surya Dev, the friend of the lotus, because the lotus opens up, blossoms up in response to the sunrise. So sun is called the friend of lotus because it makes the lotus come into full blossom. So Padma Bandhu Radhika. We know that Srimati Radharani does Surya Puja at Surya Kund every day. She is Surya Dev Upasika, Srimati Radharani. And why she is doing Surya Upasana? To get Krishna. To get Krishna's eternal association. Krishna Sangha Nityamartha Padma Bandhu Radhika. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami writes in Govinda Leelamrita. So Srimati Radharani is the ultimate worshipper, ultimate lover of Krishna. And our eternal dharma, Jaiva Dharma, is to love and serve Krishna. But who is the ultimate lover of Krishna? It is Srimati Radharani. So who do we belong to? Who is our Ashraya Vigraha? To serve, whose shelter should we take? We take shelter of one who is the fountainhead, who is the source of all service, all love, and that is Srimati Radharani. Therefore, Srimati Radharani is our Ashraya Vigraha. All devotees are in the Ashraya of Srimati Radharani. Srimati Radharani is our Ashraya Vigraha. We take shelter of Srimati Radharani. And Shri Krishna is our Vishaya Vigraha. Shri Krishna is the subject. He is the object of our service. He is the object of our service. He is Vishaya Vigraha. And Srimati Radharani is our Ashraya Vigraha. So Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur says, since Shri, Bhu and Nila Shakti, they are all principal Ashraya Vigrahas, they are the mothers of the universe. So we take shelter of our mother, Ashraya. So they are universal mothers. Saraswati, Jagannatha. Mother Parvati is called Amba. She is also mother. And Lakshmi Devi also. As Mahalakshmi in Kolhapur, she is Jagannatha. Bhagyavashe Brahmanera Pratyaksha Haila Tribhuvana Digvijay Karivara Dila. Due to the Digvijay Pandit, the Brahman's great fortune, Bhagyavashe, this is a matter of great fortune, Brahmanera Pratyaksha Haila. He had direct darshan of Srimati Saraswati Devi. This Digvijay Pandit, he had actually had Sakshat darshan of Srimati Parvati Devi, Srimati Saraswati Devi. And Tribhuvana Digvijay, Tribhuvana Digvijay, Tribhuvana Digvijay. This was the blessing that Parvati, that Mother Saraswati gave this Brahman. And then because of this blessing, that Tribhuvana Digvijay, may you be conquer, may you be victorious in all the three worlds. Tribhuvana Vijay, Tribhuvana Vijay. By receiving this blessing directly from Mother Saraswati Devi, this Brahman, he became Digvijay Pandit. He conquered all the directions because of the blessings. In the purport, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is teaching some nice Siddhanta which we must understand. So let's read. Spiritual knowledge or Saraswati. Saraswati means spiritual knowledge. Spiritual knowledge or Saraswati hides her real identity from those who are proud, foolish, attached to material enjoyment, and absorbed in the false ego of thinking themselves the doers. Prakriti kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasha ahankara vimudhatma karta aham iti manyate. So those who are puffed up thinking that they are the doers, and in her shadow form of Dushta Saraswati. So there are two forms of Saraswati. There is Shuddha Saraswati Devi and there is Dushta Saraswati Devi. So please understand. And who is teaching us? Shri Saraswati Thakur is teaching us. Shri Saraswati Thakur is teaching us that there are two Saraswatis. There is Dushta Saraswati and there is Shuddha Saraswati. Spiritual knowledge or Saraswati hides her real identity from those who are proud and foolish, attached to material enjoyment and absorbed in the false ego of thinking themselves the doers. And in her shadow form of Dushta Saraswati, she deceives them by awarding them benedictions. She deceives them by awarding them benedictions. So many people say that, oh, I am this, I am that, I have got so many qualifications, I am so learned, I am from this institute, I am from prestigious institute. They are very proud of their achievements. And who is giving them all these achievements? Ultimately, it is the higher powers. So Dushta Saraswati Devi is giving them all this educational success so that they become, because they want to become puffed up, they want to be proud. And she deceives them by giving. Like there is a very famous story Srila Prabhupada would tell. There was once a Brahman. Since he had his Upanan Samskar at the age of 5, since he got the Gayatri, every day, 3 times a day, 108 times he would chant the Brahma Gayatri mantra, Om Bhurbhuva Swa. Every day, 108 times, morning, noon, and in the evening. Since he was 5 years old. He had never missed even one Sandhya. Never. Exact during the Sandhya period, he would sit and do his Gayatri Japa. Never missed. And he was very proud of it. Now he was quite old. And he used to very proudly tell, last 60, 70 years, I have never missed even one Gayatri. So particular. Very puffed up. But one day he was very tired and he slept off in the afternoon. And it was evening time and the sun was about to set. It was time for Gayatri and he was still snoring, sleeping. So it is mentioned that Krishna told Dushta Saraswati Devi, oh Dushta Saraswati Devi, go and deceive him. Go and deceive him. So she came and she whispered in the ears of that Brahman, Jiva Jago, Jiva Jago. Jiva Jago. Dushta Saraswati Bole. Gayatri time. Get up, get up, get up. Immediately got up. Quickly took 3 dips in the river. Standing in the river, holding his Brahmin thread, he chanted his evening Gayatri. Just in time. Before the stars became visible. Once the stars become visible in the sky, then it is little late for the evening Gayatri. So just when the sun is setting, but the stars are not yet visible, that is a time to do Gayatri. So he made it on time. And he was very happy. Yes, yes, yes. My vrat has been protected. I have never missed even once. So Dushta Saraswati Devi asked Lord Krishna that he's so proud, why did you help him? Why did you ask me to help him keep his vrat? And Krishna said, no, this is very good. If he would have missed, he would have become humbled. But now that he has not missed, his pride has increased. So he's very proud. So in this way, we get material achievement, success, but that simply makes us more puffed up. So although such puffed up persons who receive her benedictions are able to conquer the 3 worlds, they are eligible for being totally defeated by the Supreme Lord Krishna, who is the ultimate giver of all benedictions. Krishna is Varadaraj. Krishna is Varadaraj. In South India, in the beautiful Dham of Kanchipur, he's there as Lord Varadaraj. So he's Varadaraj. He's the giver of all the greatest benedictions. Saraswati Devi never desires that her worshipable Lord Krishna may be defeated. So she deprives conditioned souls bewildered by Maya of the opportunity to chant the glories of Lord Krishna's holy names. When Shuddha Saraswati Devi sees that her worshipper is not inclined towards the service of the Supreme Lord, she bewilders him with material knowledge, which is her shadow form. So the spiritual knowledge transcendental knowledge is given by Shuddha Saraswati Devi. And all material knowledge, which is the shadow form of Saraswati Devi, is given by Dushta Saraswati Devi. Jara drishti pata matre haya Vishnu bhakti digvijay varavata anakona shakti. What is the difficulty for her to bless one to become a champion of learning, when simply by her merciful glance one achieves devotional service to Lord Vishnu? So if Shuddha Saraswati Devi is capable of giving bhakti, she is Vishnu Bhakti Swarupini, she can give Krishna Bhakti, then what is the difficulty for her to give some bhukti, some material enjoyment? It's nothing. So what is the difficulty to bless someone to become a Digvijay? Jara drishti pata matre haya Vishnu bhakti. She has the power to give bhakti with just her merciful glance, Shri Saraswati Devi. So Digvijay varadva taha kona shakti. So what is great if she gives someone the blessing that you become Digvijay Pandit? Nothing special. Pai Saraswati ras sakshate varadan samsara jinya vipra bhule sthan. After directly receiving the benediction of Goddess Saraswati, the Brahman traveled from province to province. Sthan. Traveled from province to province, defeating the local scholars. Samsara jinya. Whatever people are there, he won over them. He conquered them. He defeated them. Province to province. He defeated the local scholars wherever he went. So this Brahman became Pai Saraswati Sakshad Varadan. By receiving the Varadan from Sakshat Saraswati Devi, directly from Mother Saraswati, the Brahman became Digvijay Pandit. Sarva Shastra Jivhaya Aise Nirantara Hena Nahi Jagate Ye Dibeka Uttara. All the scriptures resided on the tip of his tongue. And there was no one in the world who could answer his challenge. This was the glory of this Digvijay Pandit. Jara haksha matra nahi bhuje ko na jane Digvijay hai bule sarvasthane sthane. Many scholars were not even able to understand his questions. He was so learned that in a debate, many times scholars could not even understand his question. What to speak of answering it? They could not even understand his question. So he easily conquered the scholars wherever he went. He defeated everybody. He was very learned because he had Sakshat Darshan of Mother Saraswati Devi. Shunilena badana vadvipera mahima pandita samajo jototara nahi sima. When this Digvijay Pandit heard the glories of Sri Navadvip Dham, that there are thousands of great scholars there, what happened when he heard the glories of Sri Navadvip Dham? Parama samriddha ashwa gaja yukta hai sabajini Navadvipe gela Digvijay. After hearing the glories of Navadvip Dham, that there are many learned scholars there, champion scholars there, what did he do? After conquering all other provinces, this Digvijay Pandit, he came to Navadvip along with his opulent entourage. He didn't go alone. Ashwa Gaja Yukta, Samriddha. So he had followers, he had people carrying him in a palanquin, he had elephants, horses. So everywhere he went, he defeated, he conquered. So they gave him money, they gave him horses, they gave him elephants, they gave him nice silk cloths. So he was very opulent. And with his whole entourage, he was travel from place to place. And now he came to Navadvip. Prati ghare ghare prati pandita sabhai mahadhvani upajila sarva nadiyai. As a result, a loud commotion arose in every house and in every assembly of learned scholars in Nadia. There was a lot of discussion. Sarva rajya deshe jini jaya patralai Navadvipe ashiya che eka Digvijay. People everywhere in Navadvip were saying a champion scholar, a Digvijay Pandit has come to Navadvip with a Jaya Patra. Jaya Patra. Jaya Patra means a certificate of victory. Jaya Patra. He's carrying a Jaya Patra from all the scholars all over the country. This Jaya Patra is a certificate of conquest that a party which has lost in debate has to sign. Saraswatira Varaputra Shuni Sarvajane Pandita Sabara Boda Chinta Haila Mane. When all the learned scholars of Navadvip They heard that this very great, world famous Digvijay Pandit has come, and he's a disciple of directly Mother Saraswati. He has received the favor of Mother Saraswati. They began to fear. They began to worry. Chinta haila mane. They became chintit. They became worried, anxious. जम्बूद्वीपे जत आछे पंडितेर स्थान सबाजिनी नवद्वीप जगते व्याख्यान. Of all the places of learning throughout Jambudvip, Shri Navadvip surpasses all. Jambudvip, in which India is situated, is one of the 7 islands on the Bhumandal. One of the 7 islands is Jambudvip, on which our earth is there. India is there. By her own glories, Navadvip was the most famous and celebrated of all places, adorned with intelligent people in India. Henasthana Digvijay Jai Bejinia Samsare A Apratishta Gushibe Shunia. If this Digvijay Pandit is victorious in such a place as Navadvip, then scholars all over the world will condemn us. The Navadvip scholars are thinking like this. We will be condemned if we are defeated. Yujiteva Karashakti Acheta Nasthane Saraswati Varajare Dilena Upane Apane. Yet who has the ability to debate with this Digvijay Pandit? He has received the blessings of Saraswati Devi. We cannot stand before him. Saraswati Vaktajara Jivhaya Apane Manushya Ki Vade Kabhu Paretanastane. Shri Saraswati Devi resides on his tongue. Saraswati Vaktajara Jivhaya Apane. Mother Saraswati is speaking from his tongue. Manushya Ki Vade Kabhu Paretanastane. How can a human being debate with him? If Mother Saraswati is speaking from his tongue, how can an ordinary human being debate with him? Impossible. Sahasra Sahasra Maha Bhattacharya Sabai Chintena Mane Chadi Sarva Karya. Thousands of great Bhattacharyas of Navadvip left their duties out of anxiety. Everybody was worried. They didn't want to be defeated. Chaturdike Sabai Karena Kolahal Bujibana Eswara Jata Vidya Bal. All over Navadvip people were heard saying, now we will understand the power of our knowledge. Now we will be defeated. Now we will understand. Esaba Vrittanta Jata Paduya Ragane Kahile na Nija Guru Gaurange Rasthane. Hari Hari. When the students of Sri Navadvip, when the students of Sri Navadvip Chandra, when the students of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu heard this commotion, that this Digvijay Pandit has come, what did they do? They went and informed their teacher, Kahilena Nija Guru Gaurange Rasthane. They went to their Gurudev, Shri Nimai Pandit, and told Nimai Pandit, oh, this very Digvijay Pandit, great Pandit has come. What did they say? Eka Digvijay Saraswati Vasa, Eka Digvijay Saraswati Vashakari, Sarvatra Jinia Bhule, Jayapatra Dhari. A Digvijay Pandit blessed by Mother Saraswati and who has conquered scholars throughout the world has come with his Jayapatra, with his certificate of victory. Eka Digvijay Saraswati Vashakari, Sarvatra Jinia Bhule, Jayapatra Dhari. He is Saraswati Vashakari. He has gained the favor of Mother Saraswati. Hasti Ghoda Dola Loka Aneka Samhati Samprati Asiya Haila Navadvipe Sthiti. This Digvijay Pandit, the students are telling Shri Nimai Pandit, this Digvijay Pandit arrived in Navadvip surrounded by elephants, horses, palanquins, and many followers. Navadvipe Apanara Pratidvan Vichai Nahe Jaya Patramage Sakala Sabhai. Very nice verse. The students of Shri Nimai Pandit are informing Shri Nimai Pandit that Navadvipe Apanara Pratidvan Vichai. He has come to Navadvip seeking an opponent. He wants to find a suitable opponent. Nahe, otherwise, Jayapatra Mage Sakala Sabhai. Otherwise, he demands a certificate of victory from the scholars of Navadvip. Come on, sign that you have been defeated. You're searching. After arriving in Navadvip, this Digvijay Pandit was searching for a suitable opponent. And everybody was running away. So he demanded that all the scholars of Navadvip sign the Vijay Patra and accept their defeat from him. शुनि शिष्य गणेर वचन गौरमणि हासिया कहते लागिले न तत्ववाणी. Hearing the words of his own students, the jewel like Gauranga Mahaprabhu, Gauramani, smiled and began to describe the nature of the Supreme Lord. Tattvavani. What is the nature of Krishna? Shuna bhai sab ek kahi tattva katha ahankara nasahena ishvara sarvatha. Dear devotees, please listen carefully. These are the instructions of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu to all of us. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching us Siddhanta. What is he saying? Shuna bhai sab ei kahi tattva katha ahankara na sahena ishvara sarvatha. Listen, dear brothers. Sri Nimai Pandit is telling his students, listen, dear brothers. Ishwar, the Supreme Lord, Ishwara Parama Krishna. Lord Krishna never tolerates false pride. Ahankara na sahena ishvara sarvatha. Some sadhana siddha gopis in the Rasa Leela, in Srimad Bhagavatam it is described. They were feeling some very slight, actually it was transcendental pride. They were feeling very great that Krishna is dancing with only me. And then Krishna disappeared from the Rasa Leela to teach a lesson to the sadhana siddha gopis. The nitya siddha gopis did not have any pride. But some sadhana siddha gopis had slight pride that Krishna is dancing only with me. So to humble them, Krishna left. Uddhavji was feeling little bit pride in Mathura that I am the greatest devotee of Krishna. So Krishna sent him from Mathura to Shri Vrindavan Dham so that he will observe the Vraj Gopis and understand that he has no love for Krishna compared to the Vrajvasis, specifically the Vraj Gopis. And then he will have that realization. Vande Nanda Vrajastrinam Padarenum Abhikshnasha Tasam Hari Kathodgitam Punati Bhuvanatraya. He will want to become a Gulmalata. Ye gune mattahai kare ahankar avashya ishwarataha kare na samhar. Another Siddhanta. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, Ye gune mattahai kare ahankar avashya ishwarataha kare na samhar. Whenever Lord Krishna sees someone proud of some personal quality, it may be any quality. It may be our ability to speak Harikatha, sing Kirtan, play Kartal, play Mridang, harmonium, doing deity worship, good looks, good knowledge, good management skills, big donor, whatever our ahankar is, whatever we are proud of, Krishna is displeased. Whenever Krishna sees someone proud of some personal quality, he certainly removes the cause of that pride. See, we were discussing in the beginning, Krishna sometimes allows the devotee to have a spiritual fall down so that the pride will be curbed of the devotee. Very important Siddhanta. The three modes of material nature are present in this material kingdom. The three modes keep their identities intact by remaining distinct while mixing with the other modes. When the modes of passion and ignorance are subdued by the mode of goodness, a living entity becomes situated in the mode of goodness. But even in such a mode of goodness, a specific relationship with the modes of passion and ignorance still remains. So there is no Shuddha Sattva or Shuddha Rajas or Shuddha Tamas in the material world. It's always some mixture is there. Different grades. When the specific relationship with both passion and ignorance is completely absent in the mode of goodness, it is called Vishuddha Sattva or Nirgun, transcendental, pure goodness or transcendence. In order to manifest his Vaikuntha pastime by bringing into equilibrium the ever-conflicting three modes of nature, under whose control intoxicated egoistic persons exhibit their pride, the Supreme Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu removes the opposing nature of the modes and establishes them on the platform of transcendence. Mamche avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sa gunan samatitetan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. The false ego, born of the modes of nature, is agitated by time. In other words, the concept of ahankar, ahamata and mamata, I and mine, which are born from the modes, are found within the time factor and are destroyed in due course of time. Therefore, the relationship of the living entities with the modes of material nature is temporary, not eternal. Haribol. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur is writing in the purport, the relationship of the jiva with the modes of material nature is temporary, not permanent. We belong to Vishuddha Sattva realm. The three states of birth, maintenance and death, birth, maintenance and death, Shrishti, Sthiti, Pralaya, which are born of the modes of material nature, are also not eternal. Therefore, they are ephemeral, they are temporary, illusory. Activities performed with aversion to Krishna by living entities who consider themselves the doers are inferior activities. While activities performed as service by living entities who consider themselves das, servant of Krishna, are superior or eternal. Therefore, bhakti is eternal. Phalavanta vrikshara gunavanta jan namrata se tahara svabhava anukshan. Very important siddhanta. Phalavanta vrikshara gunavanta jan. Please memorize this verse. Verse number 45. Phalavanta vrikshara gunavanta jan namrata se tahara svabhava anukshan. The nature of both, the nature of two personalities is described here. Phalavanta vriksha ara gunavantajan and gunavantajan. The nature of both, a tree laden with fruits and a man decorated with good qualities. What is the quality of a tree laden with fruits and a man decorated with good qualities? Namrata se tahara swabhava anukshan. Their swabhava is namrata. Namrata. They bow down. A tree bends down, heavily laden with fruits, right? The branches bend down, heavily laden with fruits. And a person who is heavily decorated with good qualities, sadachar, good qualities, daivi qualities, divine qualities, he bows down with namrata, with humility. Humility comes. Whereas pride and arrogance is a sign of no fruits, no good qualities. Mahaprabhu is saying, because this Digvijay Pandit was very proud, Maha Ahankari. So Mahaprabhu is saying that if there is no namrata, then that person is factually without any good qualities. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu substantiates his statement with the next verse, verse 46. Hai haya nahusha vena ban narakaravan mahadigvijay shuni yachaye yejan. You must have heard the great Digvijayas of the past. They were all Digvijayas in the past. Hai haya, Nahush, Vena, Banasur, Narakasur, and Ravan. They were all very great in their own way. Haihaya was Kartavya Arjuna of Mahishmatipur. He is mentioned in the relationship with Lord Parshuram. He was destroyed by Lord Parshuram. He was killed by Lord Parshuram. So all these Ravan and others, they were all humbled. Nahush also. He kicked the Saptarishis because he wanted to quickly go and meet Lord Indra's wife, Shashi Devi. Bhuja dekhi kara garva churna nahi hai, sarvatha ishwara ahankara nahi sai. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, try to think, whose pride was not smashed? Who is it whose pride has not been smashed by Krishna? There is nobody. Mrityu sarva haras chaham. Whatever we are proud of, ultimately death will take away everything. And Krishna is death, kalosmi. He is death personified. The Supreme Lord never tolerates anyone's false ego. Ete ke taharo jato vidya ahankar dekhibe ethai sab haibe samhar. Therefore, you will see this Digvijay Pandit's scholastic pride vanquished here in Navadvip. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Satya Sankalpa. He is Apta Kam. Whatever he says will come true. And he has said that ete ke, here in Navadvip, ete ke taharo jato vidya ahankar dekhibe ethai sab haibe samhar. Here in Navadvip, all his pride will be finished. It will be destroyed. Eta bali hasi Prabhu shishya gana sange sandhya kale ganga tire aile na range. Aha. We are almost done with the class. Eta bali, saying this, that Krishna will never tolerate pride. He never tolerates pride. And this Digvijay Pandit's pride will be smashed here in Navadvip. After making the statement, Eta bali hasi Prabhu. Nimai is not saying this out of spite or anger or he became frustrated like us. No. Although Nimai is speaking these words, which sound harsh, but he's smiling. That means he's not angry. He is Vishuddha Sattva. Ananda Leela Maya Vigrahaya. He's always Ananda. Etabali Hasi Prabhu, he smiled. Shishya Gana Sange, along with the students. Sandhya Kale Ganga Tire Aile Narange. Then in the evening, Sri Nimai Pandit took his students to the bank of Ganga, smiling. Ganga Jala Sparshakari, Ganga Namaskari, Vasile na Shishya Sange, Gauranga Shri Hari. Aha. Ganga Jala Sparshakari, Ganga Namaskari, Vasile na Shishya Sange, Gauranga Shri Hari. After sprinkling some Ganga water on his head and offering his obeisances to Ganga Devi, Lord Gauranga Mahaprabhu sat down on the bank of Ganga with his students. Now, what is going to happen? We will see, Krishna willing, next Sunday. Now, as Nimai Pandit is sitting with his students on the bank of Ganga, the Digvijay Pandit is going to come there. And then we'll see what happens. Shri Caitanya Bhagavat ki jai. Jai. Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Hari Hari. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada. If there are any questions, we can take. Otherwise, it's already late. We can end the class. Hare Krishna. If you have any question, you can unmute and ask or raise your hand. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Sandeep Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Prabhuji, in this today's discussion, this word used Dushta Saraswati. I heard it very first time, and like pretty strong word as we. Krishna, when he uses say words like Yogamaya, Mahamaya, and all. So, if you could just explain a few words about what is Dushta.
So actually, Saraswati Devi is Shuddha Saraswati.
Yes.
She is Krishna Bhakti Swarupini, Vishnu Bhakti Swarupini. But if someone has Dushta Prakriti, then the Saraswati that he will have access to is Dushta Saraswati. Because he has Dushta Prakriti. Ravan was in Maya. He wanted to enjoy Srimati Sita Devi, who is only meant for Sri Ramchandra. So Ravan was in Maya.
Yes.
He was acting Dushta. He was in Maya. Correct. So when he tried to get Sita, he did not get Sita. He got Maya Sita. Now Sita is always with Ram. Krishna Surya Sama Maya Haya Andhakar Jaha Krishna Tahana Hi Maya Ra Adhikar. So if Sita is always with Ram, and where Ram is there is no Maya, and Sita is always with Ram, how can there be Maya Sita? That is also inconceivable. How can she be? Maya Sita, this concept is only wrong. Because where there is Sita, there is Ram. Where there is Ram, there cannot be Maya. Jaha Krishna Tahana Hi Maya Ra Adhikar. But because Ravan was in Maya, he got Maya Sita. If we have Dushta Prakriti, we get Dushta Saraswati.
Okay. Yes,
so
right. Yeah.
Saraswati is not Dushta. We are Dushta. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Radhe. So if there are no more questions, we can end the class.
That Digvijay Pandit, right? Keswa, who was that? Keswa Kashmiri and other one. So other one, Keswa Bhatta. So Prabhupada Ji Maharaj in the translation itself, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj saying that the Keswa Bhatta, again I am forgetting the name, Keswa Bhatta, another one. So he is negating that he is not the Keswa Bhatta. Otherwise, it could have mentioned in that the Shastra which is written.
Hari Bhakti Vilas and Digdarshini Tika.
Digdarshini, yeah. So is that the Keswa Kashmiri then left over? So we leave with that.
So I have heard in a lecture of Srila Bhakti Rasamrit Swami Maharaj that this Keshav Kashmiri, after getting purified and receiving the mercy of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, he later on became Acharya in the Sampradaya, Sri Nimbarkacharya Sampradaya. I have actually even heard that he was an incarnation of Sri Nimbarkaditya. Sri Nimbarkaditya, to participate in Gaura Leela, came as Keshav Kashmiri. I have heard that also. but we don't know for sure. There are difference of opinions there. So that's why I will not say anything specific. Even Saraswati Thakur leaves it open that, there are difference of opinion. But the fact is that he was a very great Brahman. He had pleased Mother Saraswati with his bhajan, and he came and he got the mercy of Mahaprabhu and became very purified and a great devotee. Okay?
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Ram Sham Prabhu. Thank you. Okay, anyone else wants to say something? Okay, so we'll stop here.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Caitanya Bhagavat ki jai.
Jai.
Vrindavan Das Thakur ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Shri Radhe Shyam.
Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much.